idle months on the Stewart River. It was here that he met Emil Jensen, the dog driver, generally accepted as the prototype of the central character in London's Burning Daylight. It was here almost certainly that he heard those true tales of the early Klondike days, already past and into folklore. The tale of Swiftwater Bill Gates, who brought up all the eggs in Dawson to spite a girlfriend. The tale of the famous claim staking race from Bonanza Creek to 40 Mile, which are used as the basis of stories in his book Smoked Bellew. It was here, from men like Jensen, that he learned of the ways of the sled dogs and wild dogs and wolves, and of the men who mastered them and hunted them, which gave him the material he needed for White Fang and Call of the Wild. London reached Dawson City sometime in May 1898. Honey, are you ready? Or is that you wish you would have got there in 97? Sick with scurvy and short of funds, he left with 2 companions and a rowboat. Early in June, floating more than 1,500 miles down the ever-broadening Yukon, he had never been in the mainstream of the gold rush, but rather in its advance guard. And he left the Klondike before the flood of men. 20 to 30,000 of them descended upon it in full force. This serves to explain, I think, why London's Yukon novels and stories deal only sketchily with the specifics of the Great Stampede. In The Call of the Wild, for instance, we see the rush only as a hazy backdrop. The feeling of a human torrent plunging harum-scarum through the wilderness is not there because London himself did not experience it. Like London's other northern works, this is largely an outdoor book. There are a few interior scenes in the gambling halls or dance palaces, such as there are in Service, for example, in Rex Beach. Most of London's Yukon experience was outdoors in the silent wild, and for the most part in the company of a limited number of men. When I first read this book, I was about 10 years old and still living in Dawson City. It astonished me because it was obviously written by a man who had been on the ground. I had never heard of Jack London at the time, but it was quite obvious from his descriptions that he knew what he was talking about. This had certainly not been the case with other Yukon books I had taken out of the Dawson Public Library. London mentioned place names, which I had seen with my own eyes. He did not